time to start the next build here at the workshop. And going back to Star Wars with a build I'm going to be calling 2 Falcons and a Harlot. Going to be using 2 of the new Bandai 1144th Lando Calrissian Falcons from Solo: A Star Wars Story, as well as the Force Awakens version of the 1144th Millennium Falcon. This Falcon and one of these 2 is going to be built as, well, the Millennium Falcon. The other one is going to be a reimagining of this little guy. When I saw the pictures of the Solo Falcon, I immediately thought of the Jilted Harlot and the fact that this version here, which was built from the 1144th Fine Molds Falcon, basically just looks like a repaint of the Millennium Falcon, despite what I did with the back end here. Now, for the Harlot, I'll also be using parts from a Fine Molds 1144th Falcon to supplement some custom work on the second of the Bandai Falcons. Now, we have a lot of plastic that we'll be dealing with. We'll start with the sprues for the Force Awakens Falcon, which actually does pack considerably more surface detail, because this is the version that Han has so lovingly let get beat up and look more, well, commonplace. Got combination of either water slide decals for the panels or stickers. Truth be told, I probably won't use either one. I'll probably paint most of the panels on the Falcon. Now, on the Solo version, the pieces have a similar amount of detail, but there's not as much going on the exterior. Of course, you've got the added front piece, be it escape pod, be it cargo pod, private yacht, whatever you want to call it, as well as the interior, which would have your game table, the benches, the engineering station. Of course, this version has single guns, whereas that version's got the quad guns. Now, one thing I kind of regret about the Force Awakens version is here. While you do get a framework version of the cockpit, you do not get framework versions of the gunwales. So I may see what I can do there, or I may just go with the clear pieces all the way around on that. Now, with the interior of the Lando Falcon, you've got more decals. You've also got, like with nearly every other Bandai Star Wars kit, sticker versions. I may use some of these for the cockpit of the Force Awakens Falcon because it has no decals. Now, one other thing I'll be doing with the Harlot is I'll be taking this back deck piece and stretching it out a little, as well as raising the back deck here, kind of like I did on the original. We're going to play it all by ear. This build's going to probably take a bit, despite the fact it's built out of snap-together kits. But I'll stop babbling, and we'll see how things progress. All right, opted to start not with the cockpit, but with the mandibles. As you can see, the depth inside the maintenance pits is really good. That's actually achieved by 3 different pieces in each one. Or I guess I should say in each pair, because it goes over. I mean, you got little hoses. But construction on the Force Awakens Falcon continues with the mandibles complete. All right, working on the lower part of the hull, figured I'd go ahead and show you the detail they put into the bay, or gunwale, I guess I should say. I have not painted any of this. I just went ahead and hit it with a black wash to bring out the detail, because once you put it behind the window frame, you're not going to see a whole heck of a lot. I've gone ahead and hand painted the window frames in a light gray primer, and things are progressing. As you can see, with the gunwale assembled, you really can't see much detail in there, but it is showing. All right, at this point, assembly of the underside of the Falcon is done. You've got your dual level instrument panels here, your docking assembly, as well as little hoses along the detail. Main thrusters in play. I went ahead and went with the blue clear piece behind it, just because. Now, in typical Bandai fashion, the control arms on each of those louvers are separate pieces. Just a fair warning, if you're not into fiddly bits, this may not be the kit for you. They do go down really easy, so bear that in mind. But the kit itself is going together really well, really quickly. All right. What you see here are the 3 painted figures I'm going to be sticking in the cockpit. On the left, you've got Chewbacca, Han Solo, and Rey. Both have been painted, rough approximation of color, but let's face it, these figures are at most half an inch tall, so they're not going to show a whole heck of a lot of detail. Next stop for them is into the cockpit. Alright, here we have inside the cockpit, likely the last time you'll be able to make any of these people out. But in the back seat, you got Chewie, and then Rey and Han in the co-pilot and pilot's chairs. Panels were all given a very thorough black wash to bring out the detail. And soon it'll be time to button all this up and get the cockpit into place. Alright, much like the bottom half, we've got our detail panels in place. Again, these are multi-level. This one only has a single piece backing it, but as you can see, it still packs the detail in. These two are multi-layer. My one complaint here is there actually is excellent detail behind these grills, but because of the nature of the styrene pieces, the grills cover it. And let's face it, you're going to see the grills before you'd see any of the rest of it. Now, on a side note here, these didn't really want to pop in right for me, so each one has actually been glued in. And again, like the bottom deck, Each of these vane actuators is an individual piece, as well as the 4 raised pieces. And then this piece here, most of the rest of this is all molded in, but these 2 pieces here are raised up and are separate pieces. This is going to look great once we get it all washed up for detail. Alright, at this stage, base construction of the Force Awakens version of the Falcon is complete. I did lose one spine on the dish. Unfortunately, I don't really have a way to fix that well, so I probably won't. I do like the way you've got the ability to change the pose on the base. All in all, this thing is just waiting now for me to do the hull panels and then the inevitable weathering. Alright, after some detail painting, namely going in and hand painting some of the mismatched panels that help set this girl apart, the Force Awakens Falcon is now on its base and basically done. Black wash for detail, to help bring out the detail and feather it a bit. Did a combination of black washing and dragging the wash across the back, along with some dry brushing there to bring out the exhaust vents. Whole thing was given a flat coat, and at this point we'll call the Force Awakens Falcon done.